changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration to make you simply happy. Today, we're going to step away from the holidays and talk about something different. What it's like to work with your spouse, which is something that a lot of people think is just about impossible. We'll start with BJ Taylor's story in Chicken Soup for the Soul, My Resolution. BJ's husband had his own business, and one day he blurted out to her, "Come and work with me." BJ was surprised. She already had a job, and she said, "Work with you? Like what, just for today?" But he meant full-time. He asked her to quit her job and come and work with him. He didn't want to pay for office help anymore, and he knew that his wife would do a better job anyway. He had a small business that sold tools, but BJ loved the job she already had. She worked in an office where she liked her boss and she liked everything else about her job. She really didn't want to give that all up and take the risk of working with her husband because she wondered, how would they set boundaries? What if they worked all the time and never found a way to push the off button? What if she didn't like her husband's work style? She knew that it would make sense financially to work with him, but it was such a risk. And that's why her story was titled, A Leap of Faith. She decided to do it, but she had a lot of ground rules. She said that her husband could run sales and shipping, and she would handle all the front office stuff. He promised not to question her decisions, and she said she wouldn't question his. They would be real partners. BJ said she would try it for just 6 months, and then if it was going okay, she would re-up for another 6 months, and every 6 months she would have the right to get out, no questions asked. When BJ wrote this story, they had already been doing this for 15 years. 15 years of working together successfully, 6 months at a time. And she says the key to their success has been constant communication and a lot of compromise. So I work with my husband too, and I wrote about it in my self-help book, Simply Happy. Bill and I and another partner bought Chicken Soup for the Soul 9 years ago. That other partner has moved on, so Bill and I and our really fabulous team run the company. And that means that we are living and breathing Chicken Soup for the Soul 7 days a week, day and night. I'm in charge of creating all of our books, and Bill oversees everything, including our other businesses, which include our pet food and television businesses. We have a lot of overlapping responsibilities, and we're constantly consulting with each other about decisions, and sometimes we disagree. Now, technically, Bill is my boss, and every time I tell that to anybody, they burst out laughing. But whatever, he is the CEO, and I am the publisher. People ask how we can work together all day, spend our nights and weekends together, and not kill each other. But we have a great time, and we're both so passionate about what we do that we have a built-in sympathy for each other's obsession about work, and we really don't mind talking about it. But once in a while, enough is enough, and we need a break. And here's how we take that break. If you saw any of the Harry Potter movies or you read the books, you'll remember that the evil wizard Voldemort was so terrifying that everyone but the equally powerful wizard Harry Potter had to call him He Who Must Not Be Named. They couldn't say his name. So through some bizarre husband-wife shared brainwave activity that I don't really understand, we both decided that Chicken Soup for the Soul, work, would be like Voldemort. Work would be he who must not be discussed. So when either of us is sick of talking about work at night or on weekends, we can do what we call declare Voldemort. And then the other person is not allowed to discuss work at all. And this often happens on a Friday night. Bill will ask me something and I'll just say, Voldemort. And that means that he cannot talk to me about work again until I say it's okay. And that can be all the way until Monday morning. He's not even allowed to text me a question about work when Voldemort is in effect, because texting is like talking. People expect an instant response. And I've made it clear to him that if he sends me an email that I don't want to answer, I can just leave it until Monday when we were both officially back at work. So declaring Voldemort works for us, and there's still plenty to talk about. Just because we enjoy working together doesn't mean that we don't have a normal marriage. Bill still asks me where things are, even if they've been in the same place for 20 years. He still asks me what time we're going out, what he should wear. And like any good wife, I refuse to answer his question until he, quote, needs to know, because I know he won't listen to my answers anyway. So all in all, it's a perfectly normal marriage, despite the evil Voldemort's regular appearances. So let me ask you a question, and this is about tomorrow's podcast. Have you ever received a gift and not known what it is? We're going to talk about that tomorrow on Tip Tuesday. I'm Amy Newmark. Thank you for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast. If you'd like to learn more about what's going on at Chicken Soup for the Soul, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Our handle is @ChickenSoupSoul, and if you want, you can follow me on Twitter, and my handle is @AmyNewmark.